We're here with the Cowboys Mailbag. Mighty Ant 0215, a super thanks. Texans came out and said why they paid early, because it's going to save them money next year. That's in reference to Derek Stingley. And they're right. You get ahead of the Sauce Gardner market, the Trent McDuffie market, and what's an overpay today is tomorrow's steal. Cowboys will always want to offer last year's money for some reason. This came in via super thanks. It's a feature here on YouTube. Allows you to donate outside of live videos. Edit your message, send in whatever you want to send in, and we'll give you a shout out on the show. CJ DeYoung III. I thought teams weren't drafted backs in the first anymore. Thought they lost their market value. Thanks. The NFL, I'll kind of spin this off into general back conversation. I think there was a bit of a market correction last year where NFL teams were like, you mean we can sign Saquon Barkley or Darius Slayton to the same contract? Like, let's just do Saquon Barkley. That's kind of a no-brainer for me at that point. Teams will occasionally draft backs in round one. And the kind of funny part about this year is it's such a deep class, it actually might bring down the value a little bit. But someone's going to draft Ashton Jeanty. He's too good. Someone will probably draft Hampton in the mid to late part of round one. I don't know if Judkins or Henderson or Johnson sneak into the first either, but I think those guys have a chance to go top 50. So I think that the talent level is high enough that it will override any potential positional value concerns. From Skeptical Fan, please get us another offensive lineman and DT or corner. I feel like they're kind of done on the offensive line outside of like a day 3 pick. They've got their 5 starters. They've got Brock Hoffman. I think they like Austin Richards. They signed Robert Jones. Feel like they're going to be fine there. DT, you better get another run stopper. I am concerned that for a team that so constantly harps on, we want to run the ball and we want to stop the run, they haven't done anything to address that actually. They signed Robert Jones, and that's it. You know, the DTs are not run stoppers. Like, that's noteworthy to me. You know, Turner can set the edge a little bit. Okay. Corner, yes. You got to get another corner in there. Have to do it. From Skeptical Fan, overall free agency grade, in my opinion, is a B. It's average. You know, for the Cowboys, it's probably an A+, but that's not the bar, right? It's the rest of the NFL. I'm of like the B- C+ range, but not technically over yet. So I want you guys to grade the Cowboys free agency so far. It's the pinned comment on today's mailbag, so if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. A, B, C, D, or F. Marcus Arnold says, trade for Courtland Sutton. What would you give, and is he worth an extension of $25 million per year? Love having him the next 4 years locked up at receiver. I get the mindset. I think it makes sense for Dallas. You know, they liked Sutton coming out of the draft. That's been their offseason target range anyway. I just don't see how it makes sense for Denver. You know, are they going to get a first-round pick, a pick swap, whatever, to give up Courtland Sutton, have 0 playable, like actually good wide receivers? Like, Denver should just extend Courtland Sutton. I think that's far more likely than Denver just, like, doing you a favor and giving you Courtland Sutton. I don't think it actually makes any sense for the Denver Broncos. I'd be really surprised if they did that. You know, I know that they had the contract negotiation with Sutton last offseason. They don't want to, even if they get 12, they can get a receiver at 20 and not rely on Marvin Mims, who, like, they don't play consistently, Devon Veal, and Troy Franklin, and Trent Sherfield. Like, they need more receivers, not fewer. That's why I don't buy it. DeLunatic, possible team for a trade down scenario, DC for life. Outside of, like, the surprise, Pittsburgh gets desperate for a QB and jumps up to 12 with you. That's kind of the issue I struggle with. I don't know who's going to want to trade down. I don't know if there's an obvious trade-up contender. You know, does a team like... Is there a defender that Arizona, Atlanta are in love with that they'll slide up a couple spots with? We will know how close Sean Payton is based on if he ever wants to trade up. Does a team like, you know, if Jeanty's there at 12, does like the Chargers or someone, Denver or Pittsburgh, go, we need him? Like, that could be a possibility. I don't think Green Bay's that far away. If there's a receiver or corner they love, they move up. But then if there's a receiver corner they love, shouldn't you love them too? That's why I think it's a little bit dicey and not set in stone. From Noah, what are the chances Tyler Warren, Jeanty, or McMillan fall to you in the first? I would bet decently high at least one of them is there. I'd say no higher than 50-52 are there, and I'd say 0 that all 3 are there. Jeanty, the Raiders and Bears stand out as fits to me. I kind of think the Patriots would draft an offensive tackle over a receiver at 4, but they could always be a threat there. The Raiders and maybe Carolina/New Orleans stand out as threats to T-Mac. Tyler Warren, it's tight end. It's always tricky, but the Jets could use him. I doubt the Saints. The Bears are a dark horse. The Niners are dark horses. But I think there's a chance Warren falls. Warren might be the most likely to go top 15 because of Indy at 14. I think one of those guys ends up being there. Today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. It is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. It is perfect with March underway for college basketball. You can also do football season-long Prize Picks slates and baseball season-long as well. My guy Jack Lauderay cooking this one up here as well. Got, I think, pretty good more thans on some pitchers. Then he went with the homer pick, pun intended, on Duran for Boston. Go download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Who are a couple of your sleepers so far for this year's draft? A couple of mine are Phil Maffa, that is the Clemson running back. Kyle Williams is the SMU wide receiver. Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon is that's the off-Florida lineman tackle, I think. Elijah Roberts is SMU. I think he's a defensive end, kind of like tweener size. And then Teddy Buchanan is the Cal linebacker. I'm not too far deep into day 3. Still kind of early. There's 18 backs I think you can count as sleepers, Taj Brooks and Bashal Tootin hell, Donovan Edwards is going to be a sleeper for you. There's so many guys there. I did someone last night I put the sleeper tag on. I actually don't mind Buchanan on there as a sleeper. I think there's upside. I think his instincts and run game are not very good right now. But I think day 3 linebacker pick, that makes a lot of sense to me. Now, if you enjoy our Cowboys mailbags, hit that sub button, youtube.com/@CowboysTV for more free Cowboys YouTube videos. Daniel, I don't want us to go get Stefon Diggs because I already wants $15 million for 1 year, and I'm like, El Paso. Get it, Stone? You get it. I don't know what Diggs wants. The market will determine what he ends up getting, but I think that's probably a good over-under figure for him, and that's too much for the Cowboys. Even with the Dante Fowler deal, they got to 6, but just barely. Just barely. Mikey, what the heck is going on with Tet? The fall we're seeing from him is freaking me out. I was interested in him, but now I don't know. I always advise this. Your first thoughts, your first eval, are normally right. I don't know. Tet McMillan isn't the greatest athlete. He's not a bad athlete, though. He's tall, but he's very fluid. I think he's borderline smooth. He's not slow. I think T-Mac might not be for everybody because some teams want the shiftier guys. I think he's receiver 1 in this class. The Luther Burden fall was weird. I only get worried about falls if it's just there's character stuff or there's a medical thing. This is just, hey, some fatigue. And I think the NFL, I'm higher on this receiver class than I guess the NFL is. From my early grades to what I've heard out there, I guess I'm just higher on it. I'm not gonna overthink McMillan. I'm not gonna overthink Bird. I'm not gonna overthink Will Johnson. Give me the good players. Sometimes the NFL makes this harder than it should be. Go ask Brian Branch. Conlon Melody, that's a name. Also, I guess that's kind of a dick comment. I'm sorry. I'm sure your parents love you. Are the Cowboys done making moves in free agency? That's how I lose subs. Sorry. Maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if that was the path they ended up going. Maybe after the draft there was stuff, but I think that like their above $3 million moves are probably done until after the draft. They're also kind of high on roster space. They've got some of the, let me pull up the exact numbers here. They've got some of the most signed players relative to their roster in the entire NFL. They're at 74 players. That's second most. They're going to have 10 draft picks. That's 84 of their 90. Now, they can cut some guys too, but I think they're probably not going to do much else in free agency. So, prediction time. How many more free agents do you think the Cowboys sign? This is before the draft, by the way. I think 0 is a real option. Let me know in the comments of today's show. From text to WA, Omarion Hampton at 12. I just think it's too much. I like the player. He is very clearly, I think, the second best back in this class. But I think there will be a either higher graded player on my board at a more impactful position or a similarly graded player at a more impactful position. And for me, I'm going in the other direction because I will be able to get another damn good back later. Not as good as Hampton, but I'll still be able to get a damn good football player.